What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Writers. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast. Today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Gavv episode 42, and we're also going to talk about the announcement of the next Kamen Rider series.
Ooh.
I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. How's it going, Toby?
Pretty good, Josh. I'm ready to Zeztz with everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to Zig-A-Zig-Ah today with you as we talk about
If you want to be my rider, you gotta get with my friends.
Well, actually, if you want to be my writer, you have to invade my dreams. Apparently, is what the show is about, which is fine. It feels a little bit like we have a Nightmare on Elm Street writer.
Exactly.
From the description.
That was the joke that we made in Discord as a group and AI'd and all sorts of things. But yeah, like, even if it's like, I'll assume the dreams are the negative part, and that's where he goes to ride. So at that point, he is like effectively like, I guess, like Freddy Krueger, but the anti-Freddy Krueger. Like, instead of like killing you in your dreams,
yeah,
he's
a good
saving you in your
Freddy
dreams.
Krueger. Yeah. Yeah, he's showing up and defeating your nightmares for you or something.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that seems like it's the most safe assumption at this point, right?
Yeah, that's what it kind of sounded like. Yeah, I mean, I guess let's since we're clearly excited about talking about it, let's just jump into that right now. So, if you haven't heard, what we are talking about is Kamen Rider Zeztz. I think Zeztz is maybe where we're going. Zeztz. It is the next Kamen Rider series. It's been like officially announced, and we've gotten a little preview of it as well. So the description from the announcement of the series, I will read that to you now. As I am finding it, the actual description is: in a world shaped by the dreams we see in our sleep, Zeztz enters people's dreams as an agent on a mission. Equipped with a cutting-edge rider belt worn across the chest, Zeztz brings a bold new form to the battle. Stay tuned for more exciting details. So yeah, the dreams we see in our sleep, he enters dreams as an agent on a mission. So yeah, it sounds like Freddy Krueger, but a good guy.
I feel like the possible downfall of this show already, if we want to call it that. I feel like the fun is going to be you need to get wacky with people's dreams.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they don't do at least a handful of absurd episodes of like, wow, this person dreams about like negative inverse piloted zoo animals and all the animals are in the zoo staring at the people, not the other way around. Like, I think you need some wacky, dumb shit like that, along with just like, I'm coming into your dreams to save you. And I guess also to that point, this feels way more, like, just from like the top of my head, like this feels way more like a Sentai season.
Oh,
I feel like,
okay,
because I feel like it'd be way easier, or you could diversify the dreams more so. If you're like, hey, I'm going into the dreams to fight the monster of the week kind of tier, instead of just like, hey, there's this overarching boss that goes in people's dreams and sends the putties or whatever they're going to be this year. So now we're just going to do the opposite, and then you can go and fight those guys, and the boss is still in the outside world, or however that works.
Yeah, I mean, well, you have to remember, Kamen Rider is also very good at Monster of the Week stuff. Like, sometimes they de-emphasize that aspect a little bit, but like, it also is very much in that realm of like, we can give you a new person's dream every week, and we can give you a new monster to fight in that brain, and you can go get it done if you want to every single week. I think in best case scenario, like the idea of going in people's dreams and it being kind of wacky and weird, in a perfect scenario, it's just Psychonauts, right? Like, it is potentially as good as Psychonauts was for the same reasons of like these crazy weird dreamscapes and the stories that you can tell and the imagery that you can show based on people's weird dreams, because you're not bound by the real world.
Yeah, like it's the ultimate open canvas, which I feel like is also a hard thing to do then, because there are no rules. So again, like preemptively, whatever, it has tons of potential. It just seems like there's a real fine line there's like a fine like sweet spot, not so much like maybe not like a line, but there's a bell curve of like crazy dream shit fits in this bell curve, and then we're going too far in the boring direction or the insane direction. I feel like is where the bad buffer is.
Yeah, I think my two biggest fears right now are that the dream things will be so out there that they will be 100% CG and in the bad version of CG that we get in Kamen Rider shows. I'm just like, this all kind of looks like garbage, and the only thing that's real on the screen is the human in the suit, and it just takes me out of it. That's a potential danger for me. And also, I like from a story perspective, you could write this incorrectly, where it feels like anything in the real world doesn't matter because you're just going into dreams all the time, right? Like if you do all your battling in the dream realm, what's left for the stakes as far as what's going on IRL? So I can see them struggling with that potentially, the kind of splitting between the world. But
So if nothing else, I will say starting with Geats and the Reiwa era they're in.
yeah, just mumble right through it. Yeah, we're good.
Like with all those shows, they've progressively gotten better. Like Geats and Gotchard are kind of the same tier. They both have their own little ups and downs. But like Gavv is amazing. And all the story beats have been perfect the whole time. We established long ago they weren't doing the rewrites mid-season. They had the story, they're sticking to it. And I feel like as long as they can keep like the Gavv tier vibes of this is the story, we're doing this, and not worrying about the other shit, I definitely think it has a lot of potential.
Yeah, same. It definitely feels like we have been on a like arrow pointing up and to the right. If you're graphing the quality of seasons, it does feel like they've been like, slowly increasing over the years as we've been watching them, which is very fun and very exciting. I hope they can keep it going. There's more exciting stuff about this writer, obviously. Number one, let's talk about how he looks, because we haven't really touched on that yet. So the big, huge change, as I mentioned in the description, he wears his driver like a crossbody bag, like around his chest, which I think is awesome. That's so cool.
At least you have a like the specific name for it, because my name for it earlier was a fanny pack around the shoulder.
Yeah.
But
that's what
I
it is,
guess, yeah. But I guess like cross shoulder bag, what the hell you said.
Yeah.
It makes more sense than like people getting kicked in the stomach with this giant bulky thing in your stomach.
Yeah.
And I guess you can kind of do a cool. It's probably easier to henshin into it if it's like up top on your shoulder. It looks like the item that goes in the driver kind of looks like orbs again, right?
Yeah, they look like Pokeballs almost or something. Yeah, they're like round
or like gacha capsules.
Gacha capsules. Yeah.
So I think that seems easy to do, interesting. Like just kind of grab your balls and slam them in your shoulder kind of deal.
Yep. Yeah, I think the crossbody look, I think it adds to the cool factor of the whole suit and of the outfit in general. It reminds me of like kind of like streetwear or like b-boy style or something, right? Like the type of person who would wear a fanny pack across their chest and like maybe drive a motorcycle. Like it lends it some like real world credibility in a weird way. And yeah, it takes away the goofiness of I look like the world's weirdest cowboy because I have a giant belt buckle on, because when you wear a crossbody bag like that, you expect there to be a little bit of bulk because it's a fanny pack, it's a bag, right? Like you're gonna be stashing stuff in it. So it feels like from the promo images a much more natural place to wear something like that. And I'm really interested in seeing it like in action more than just like a few seconds in a promo video. But the suit itself is also like, it really harkens back to like OG Kamen Rider. Like it is the blacks and greens and reds. He looks very much like a bug with like big red eyes, like very intentionally a throwback design, but like modernized. Like everything's a little bit sleeker, a little bit smoother. There's like carbon fiber clearly mixed into to the actual like fabric and stuff. But they're taking design elements, I think, clearly from like original Kamen Rider, which I think is probably on purpose because the other huge piece of this announcement is that it's going to be broadcast basically across the world, like in the US. It's going to be supposedly airing simultaneously in the USA, Canada, Hong Kong, South Korea, Thailand, Taiwan, Vietnam, and the MENA region. I don't even know what the MENA region is. I'm not very worldly, apparently. But airing
Middle
outside
East
of
and
Japan.
North Africa.
Okay, thank you. So obviously that doesn't hit the entire world, and some people are a little upset about what like the UK is missing is a huge one.
I find it funny that most of our Discord is all in countries that are not part of this global rollout
Yeah.
with this global reveal of this season. So like the best joke I had earlier was, it seems like if nothing else, they decided these are core languages or core
Yeah,
language countries, and they'll
that's
do
it.
it that way. Where like, I know like, ha ha ha, America, we're the best, we get everything, but not so much like with the sarcastic way of that. It's just a shitload of the world is smart enough to also speak. They're intelligent enough to learn two languages, and usually that second language is English.
Yeah. I
So,
think you're exactly right. Yeah.
so I think that's their way of covering that, of like, oh, we're not gonna do, like Kamen Rider Germany and have a German voiceover, because then it's only going to cover like a bit of Germany or all of Germany, however that works. But if they do English and Germany knows English, they're just as set. So I think
Yep.
that they cheated their way into this.
I think so too. Yeah, I think that from a business perspective makes sense and probably is exactly why it is this particular list of countries. Um, I also think it's interesting. So they didn't really explain much about this. They just used the word broadcast and streaming are scheduled to air in. But the little promo that they put out was in English, like English dub, like an English voiceover.
Are you,
um,
so the important question when you watch this next season, are
uh
you going to watch subs or dubs?
I'm watching dubs. If dubs are available, I'm 100% watching dubs.
Are you really?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I went back and forth on this so hard. I had a mental conversation with myself today about it. If they do dubs, the mouths aren't going to match.
No.
And even though I shouldn't care, I will see that the whole time. And like, as part of that, like told you like months, years ago, probably 1,000 times at this point, like I can't play Yakuza games not in Japanese audio, because I think like the American voice actors suck and it just kind of ruins the vibe of the game for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm worried now that if I watch the dub version, even though it'll be easier for me to watch because they're just talking a language I know and I get all the nuances of the translation and everything, I feel like it's going to lose some sort of the charm that's supposed to have.
Yeah, I can see that. Honestly, like I'm saying dubs so adamantly because of the novelty of it. Like we've never
Right,
gotten it
yeah.
before, and like I have to know what it's like, and I have to watch the whole season because I just need to know how they do it if they end up doing it. The real answer, like undercover real answer, is I'm probably watching at least the first 10 episodes like both ways if they're available. Like I'm probably watching both of the dub and sub, just to get a feel of like which voice actor do I like better. Like, do I like the original actor? Do I like the English, whatever it is? Because it's gonna come down to like a lot of different things. Like I might just like literally just hate one of the actors or something, right? And that might ruin it for me. But I think I just have to know what it's like if they end up doing it. And I think that would lend itself to why like this list is not all encompassing, right? Like translating text into German is pretty easy, but like hiring German voice actors for an entire year is a lot harder.
Yeah.
So my fingers are crossed. My big pie in the sky is like, oh my God, please let this be a dub. Like that would be insane. I'm super happy even if it is just subtitled and we're just getting official Kamen Rider. But like, I feel like signs right now are pointing towards we might actually get a full-on dubbed version of the show, which is crazy.
I feel like they have that. It's either the Kamen Rider global account or the Kamen Rider US account that we're like, holy shit, this is actually a thing.
Yeah, Kamen Rider _EN.
Yeah. I feel like you can't have that account tweet, "Hey, this is coming to America in English." Like I can't, like I feel like the account can't converse with me in a way that I understand unless we're gonna actually do the dubs, like you said. Like at least for us, for like
Yeah.
English speaking, whatever.
I don't know, because like anime is so hot, right? Like you look at Crunchyroll. I know that's always my example, and like people are very very like the anime has taught people how to watch things that are subtitled. Like it's not a hurdle like it maybe was 10, 15 years ago. Like when anime was first getting brought over to the States, I think that was like a big thing that people would hand wring about. I was like, oh my God, people aren't going to want to read their TV shows. But I feel like youth of today, they're used to it and they're watching anime and they're, all this stuff. So I think that it'd be fine, but yeah, it feels very much like they're pointing towards a dub, especially with the promo being dubbed in English.
Yeah, someone knows.
Yeah, so someone knows that that's important.
I just think it's crazy that now, like, I'm gonna call this from the business standpoint and not their show's business, from our show's business. I think it was for Godshard, I made that me and you and me song where I said like that one battle is super slow motion splashing around the water like they're best friends.
Uh-huh.
And you said, I said I was going to post it online and tag Toei and make a whole big deal out of it. And you said, we're really not supposed to have Kamen Rider over here. I wish you wouldn't do that just in case. And now I feel like now we can do whatever we want to. And as English speaking nerds and US based podcast, I guess we'll call it, it feels kind of like a door opening for us on like the micro scale of like, at least our own country might get more into the show that we talk about every week. And that seems like a fun opportunity for us to get noticed for something.
Dude, I'm so stoked about that. Like, I don't know if you ever have this experience, but like telling people IRL, like what you do, like, oh yeah, I have a podcast. Oh, what's it about? Well, it's about this Japanese kids TV show that I watch. Like, it's just such a weird hurdle to get over. And and then if someone is like vaguely interested, like, oh, it's like superheroes, like yeah. I was like, oh, how do I watch it? I was like, well, have you ever heard of torrenting? There's just so many.
Steal it from our podcast, or you got nothing.
Yeah, like there's so many hurdles to get someone into this show currently. So if I could just be like, oh, it's just on YouTube, just go stream it, it's all dubbed, like it's right there. If I can link someone to a playlist of like, hey, here's the TV show, you can watch it and then you can listen to our show. That's really exciting. Yeah, the idea that like this might get way more English speakers interested and watching Kamen Rider is very exciting from a podcast perspective for sure.
There's I think it was either a joke that we had during one of our like 3 years worth of shows now, or a conversation I had with you privately. There's been times around here where I've highly debated getting a billboard for our show just because,
we've talked about it. Yeah.
Just because it's cheap enough where it's a feasible thing I could do, and I wouldn't really think that much about it. And in general, I've seen a real uptick of just random people buying billboards for things recently. Like usually they're good causes, but it'll be like Comic Sans, whatever font, and it'll be like BillyNeedsAKidney.com and a picture of a kid that needs a kidney. But it's a real thing. Like it's people like last ditch effort trying to like get their kid bumped up on a list or whatever. Yeah. Like, so it's not funny, but it's the fact of the matter is like some random family was able to just buy this big ass billboard on the highway to advertise for their kid, which again, a good thing, whatever. But I've debated getting one for our podcast, and I feel like that doesn't work if the show is not here. But now that the show is coming here, I feel like I could get a billboard with like, remember Power Rangers? Listen to this. And I bet you the click-through rate would be much higher in these upcoming months here versus the old days.
Yeah, it's just like it's gonna remove so much friction to that. Like, it'll be so much easier to get people into it. Yeah, I also have looked into. I think in our Discord, I think Liv was at one point was like, hey, so like Anime Expo is coming up or whatever the anime convention that was coming up was. I was like, have you looked into getting like a billboard around the convention hall? I'm like, that's genius.
So you know what? I missed that conversation. That's A
It might have been
fantastic idea.
it might have been a private convo between just the two of us. I don't recall. But I looked into it for a couple days of just like, yeah, like what are like the billboard companies around there, and I tracked one down and I looked up rates, and it was going to be too expensive. It was going to be like thousands of dollars basically. But yeah, I still love the idea.
Yeah, if I knew for sure that a couple $1,000 conversion rate would turn into something, I would do it still.
We might have to seriously talk about it then when we when we get to the next anime convention season or whatever. Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. We could also just like probably we could also just probably sponsor like some portion of an anime convention too. Like we could probably just be like a sponsor that ends up in like on the signage, or like
No one reads that shit.
we could sponsor a panel or something. I bet we could like we could also just be involved somehow like that too.
I feel like no one pays attention to that.
Yeah.
Like, are you still? I don't know if it's everywhere, but diners around here forever have the cheap throwaway like placemats, but it's like the advertising placemats where there's like 20 ads on it.
Uh-huh.
So when I'm sitting waiting for my food, I love reading those placemats because just to see what's around and what people are shilling. But I do not remember a single thing on those placemats.
Well, yeah,
and I feel like this is the equivalent of, hey, there's this name on a billboard, or not the billboard part, but like, hey, there's this name on this sponsored by list at this expo, and no one's gonna read the list, but the name is there.
That could be, yeah. Well, Toby and Josh are looking for a marketing expert. If you're one out there, if you're out there and you want to help spread the gospel of the Kamen writers, send in an email. We might be pretty interested in your hot takes, because we don't know what we're doing.
Before we talk about the episode, which I feel is kind of quick,
I got more to say about Zeztz before we go on.
Okay,
but
when you no, because I'm gonna completely swerve the train. So
okay,
you keep ziggying.
So the other thing I wanted to touch on with Zeztz here, I feel like we can't talk about it without talking about a little bit of the drama that came up around this preview. So the preview that came out was like, I feel like it was very short and very like style focused. Like you got to see a couple shots of the writer himself getting kind of on and off the bike, and in a couple different scenes. And people very quickly pointed out, because it was pretty obvious, that the backgrounds that you see in the trailer are like clearly like AI generated images. If you've seen one, you've seen a million of them. You can kind of zoom in and see like, oh wait, this kind of just goes nowhere.
There was no hands.
Yeah, it's that vibe where like, like quick little cut, it looks good enough, but then you look at it closer, you pause it, you realize it's generative AI for sure. So that sucks. I think that's the I'm doing the like jazz hands over top of everything. Generative AI is kind of a bummer when it comes to like television production and movies and like commercialized art like this. If you want to like, I don't know, put your face on your favorite Kamen writer for fun at home using ChatGPT, that's fine. You're not evil for doing that. But if you are, using, I think, AI generated tools which kind of steal other people's work to then create new commercial work, that's where it becomes a bummer and a gray area for me. Plus it's just kind of devoid of talent, and it's using the tools incorrectly, and there's all kinds of issues there. But people obviously were throwing a fit about that. I think rightfully so. But Shade actually wrote in, so I'll read some of his stuff here to talk about this a little bit. And Shade actually, I think Shade and I are on the same page about this. And Shade says, before, I want to bring a bit of solace in these confusing times. So Shade points out that Kamen Rider 1 doesn't do previews like this very often. And when they do, they're barely anything like the actual show. So the preview and the show aren't really connected. And they're just kind of, again, trying to give a bit of a flavor piece for what the show might feel like or might be about. So Shade says there's a decent chance that no generative AI was used in the show itself, and this preview is a separate outlier. And 2, I didn't realize this, but Shade says recently a designer who attempted to use AI while working on Goes-Yuger was met with backlash and has since stepped down from their position. So I'm fairly sure that Toei execs will certainly notice the community's outcry on this issue and resolve the problem in the future. By the way, the Japanese fans are mad as well, not just the Western fans.
Good. We all,
Yeah.
in these great times where we're all on the same page for once, we all
Yeah.
have to get together, and we have to rise up against the AI overlords.
Exactly. The East meets West, and we're all together, loving Kamen Rider and hating generative AI in things like this. Yeah. So I just wanted to get that out there, that like my excitement of the show doesn't mean I'm like co-signing like the use of generative AI and these things or anything like that. Like I am choosing to overlook that for now until it becomes a bigger problem, until they present it as a bigger problem in the show. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, I think, as it stands right now. So yeah, that's a little bit of the drama, I guess, that's out there right now.
What if they use AI for the whole season, but they say like we're using AI in the season?
Like, I won't like it. I will still watch it. I don't think that they could get to a point where I am like boycotting the show. Because, obviously we're doing the show and it's still fun to talk about it and stuff. And if it's really, really egregious, that's a thing we can yell about every week too, right? There's some benefit there. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't like it. I think it's just lame more than anything. Like, obviously it's, that AI data is trained on people's actual art. So when it's generating something for you, it's just doing it based off of some work that an artist actually did. But yeah, more than anything, it's just like you're not creating something new and interesting with it. Like you are just sort of regurgitating a slop from this giant bucket of things that like the AI doesn't really understand. So like I think that I worry about AI in general for that reason. That like it's just gonna stop culture being created if it gets used too widely, right? Like we're just gonna keep like dipping from the bottom of this one barrel instead of like filling up a new barrel.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So I think that's like my overall philosophy on the AI stuff is like it's just gonna be an issue from an art generation perspective, from a culture generation perspective. Everything's gonna become homogenized. Everything's gonna look the same. So I hope that we can like dodge that. Obviously, like my job is dealing with technology. I am not someone who is going to or like will put my head in the sand and say like, man, if we just don't ever talk about it, it's never gonna happen. Like these tools are gonna continue to evolve and continue to develop, and they're here to stay. I just think we have to figure out ways to use them where they are assisting you in creating cool new art instead of generating the art for you whole cloth. So I think that's what you have to do. I think in some cases we're there, right? You look at the tools that are baked into Photoshop now, and like those are generative AI, but they're for stuff like, hey, do you want this picture to be like 5% larger? Well, we can add like generation around the borders for you, and that's mostly fine. Or do you want to like try to remove this person in your image? Like, okay, we can generate that and what it would look like behind them, and that's again mostly fine. But yeah, it's just the like, draw me Atlantis. That's where it really goes.
Find me a dream state for Kamen Rider Zetz's episode 7.
Exactly. Dear ChatGPT, what if Kamen Rider Zeztz was in front of a temple? You press enter, and then it says a lot of people are generating images right now.
Love it.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll see how it goes, and we'll obviously be talking about it as the show airs. And looking to see if they continue to do that. But yeah, so Zeztz is premiering in September. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we get further announcements about like the dub and stuff from there. So take it away, Toby.
So this is just a random story, but I want you to tell me if this sounds like an insane version of main character syndrome to you.
Okay.
Because this person, I don't know this person. And in my interaction with them for all of 5 minutes, they drove me nuts the other day. So for America, we had our 4th of July over last weekend ish. Everyone goes out to watch fireworks, blah, 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 the whole shebang. It didn't click until the other day that we're really just under like 250 years as a country. This is a side story. It didn't click like that how young we are sometimes. And so I realized that like my grandmother is almost half the age of America.
Yeah. That is pretty crazy.
And then that was nuts to me. But so we're at the fireworks. The main place that's by me to go is like they kind of turn it into like a big party area. Fireworks usually start like 9:30 when it gets dark out. So everyone's jammed in this area. It's hot out. The fireworks started early and there's really no place to go once you get stuck in the crowd. So I was really irritated. Like, it's hot. I'm jammed in with people. Everyone's acting stupid. So I'm getting irritated. There's this girl in front of me who has a camera and she's taking pictures of the fireworks. I was like, that's cool. You know, like she's getting good pictures, whatever. And the person I'm going to presume is her mom is back behind me yelling, oh, look at you taking pictures. Look at you taking pictures. But not in like a supportive, fun way.
What?
In more of like I need my attention and I don't have it right now during like mid fireworks.
In the middle of the fireworks. Okay.
Yeah. So driving me nuts. I'm trying to shake it off. I'm trying not to think about how hot it is out and everything else. So at some point the girl turns around and trades her camera, like DSLR or whatever, with I guess her cell phone or whatever and starts taking pictures. Now I'm going to say, I think the girl's name was Trina. The only reason I know the girl's name.
How old is this girl, by the way? Did you say?
Probably like low mid 20s,
okay.
adult enough.
Adult, okay.
Yeah. So she's taking normal cell phone pictures. She's in front of me, but I'm taller than everybody, so it's fine. All of a sudden, behind me, I start hear the same voice going, look at me, I'm Trina, and like taking pictures and yelling about what pictures she took. So she yelled it 2 or 3 times, and I really wanted to turn around and scream at her because she's either just like mocking her friend or a kid. I couldn't confirm it was her mom, but like, if this person likes taking photos of things, you taking photos then and screaming, look at me, I'm you, in a certain tone, is just like bitchy, jerky as shit. And that person really pissed me off.
So you think you're pretty sure it was her mom who was doing
by the tone of voice.
Okay.
Like the age, the timbre of the voice. It sounded like a mom yelling to the kid.
So the whole time, like the even when she had the like nice camera out, you think the mom was like mocking her for having the camera? Is that the vibe?
If like, not, maybe not specifically that, but just like look at this nerd taking pictures.
Okay.
Only because when the adult behind me had the camera, it was look at me, I'm Trina, but like over and over and over.
Oh, so the person holding the cell phone was the mom woman, not the Trina woman. Okay.
Like we'll say Trina's in front of me and mom's behind me.
So Trina put away her big camera.
Had the big camera taking pictures of the fireworks, which is fine. She then turned around, handed the camera behind me to someone, and was given a cell phone. And then the voice behind me kept yelling, look at me, I'm Trina. I'm taking pictures of the fireworks.
Honestly, this person just sounds very drunk, too.
It also could have been possible.
Yeah, because otherwise, this makes, like, next to no sense. Like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, what is this person even? What are you trying to accomplish here?
But then, like, the quote unquote Trina, like, made a face once or twice, like, I don't like just like the when you brought something home to your parents that you were proud of, and then they kind of made a face at you and of like embarrassment of like is this what we're doing right now? Like she had this face of like, I don't know why I'm getting dunked on for taking pictures.
That sucks. I feel bad for her. As someone who also had their camera out taking pictures at the fireworks, I feel bad for her. Because as you know, I think you've taken probably enough pictures too. Like there is like an inherent baked in embarrassment when you have a camera that isn't a cell phone out. Like if you're holding it, if it's around your neck, whatever, and you're in public, like there's just this feeling that like, God, everyone's looking at me, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because everyone looks at you for no discernible reason, really. Like everyone looks at you like you're an alien.
Yes.
Like why are you not holding this little thing in your hand? Why do you have this big box on your face?
Yep. So I definitely have like tried to get over that in being out taking pictures and stuff, but for sure that's like a weird thing in general. And then if someone is like pointing it out and be like, "Ooh, taking pictures,"
Look, I'm Josh.
I'd probably just put it away. I just wouldn't even try anymore. Yeah.
And yeah,
I'm glad there weren't any assholes like that at my fireworks. Because I got some pretty cool time lapses of the fireworks.
There you go. We actually like effectively storm chased fireworks this year, and it was actually like highly entertaining to me.
Oh yeah, you like went to multiple of them?
So the main 4th of July ones, there's always a specific place that is gone to. And then because it was Friday this year. So because the 4th of July was Friday, I feel like firework days for the world went from the 3rd to the 6th because people are assholes and like setting off fireworks all the time.
Yep.
So basically every night around 9:00-ish, fireworks would start somewhere where I wouldn't see them from the house, but I could hear them from the house. So Saturday night, heard a bunch of fireworks. I was like, we're going to go find the fireworks, and just drove around following the sound and found like 4 or 5 random like cities, events, whatever, setting off like actual fireworks shows.
That's cool.
To the point where I chased the last quote unquote set was going off like 10:00 still. And I was like racing around back roads trying to find where the fireworks are coming from, but I couldn't find that one. But it actually led to, there's an amusement park like 20-30 minutes away from me. And from driving around the night before, I remembered that the amusement park had fireworks. And to that point, I was like, well, we're just going to go there tomorrow and just watch the fireworks again. So we went there, and the not parking across the street was trying to like get $5 donations to park there. So I said, fuck this. I drove down to the amusement park, which was letting people out. I drove the car through the exit, like the exit in the parking lot that says like do not enter. And I just parked in the exit of the parking lot to watch the fireworks for free.
Nice.
And it was like, it was the closest I've ever been to fireworks, and loud as shit where it like shook the car and stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like we have like lucked into min-maxing fireworks around here. So my town that I live in does like a really awesome fireworks display, like kind of like shockingly awesome. And in my town, there's this big sports complex. And they do fireworks there, like at the sports complex. So you get to go like bring your chair, and you get to sit on like, there are basically 2 giant side-by-side turf soccer fields. And you get to just set your chair up on the soccer field.
I thought you said it was a sports complex. Hey.
Oh, because soccer is not a sport. Yeah. So you get plenty of room. You're on turf, so it's all like nice and even and easy to walk on and stuff. Not like wading through mud or anything like that. And then when they shoot the fireworks off, like they're actually really close. Like they're just on the other side of the soccer field. So again, you can like feel them in your chest, like you're talking about. Like it's really, really up close and very, very boomy and very fun. If you go and try to do like free parking for these fireworks, you have to walk like a long ways to get from the parking lot to the field area. However, you can also buy like priority parking, and it's only $15.
They always get you though, right? There's no matter.
Well, yeah, I mean, like sure, they get me, but like it's only $15, and it is. I think maybe a lot of people don't know about it, because you can always get there. You can park like second or third row back, and you walk like literally right onto the soccer field from there. So what we do is we just like show up. They also have like, food vendors and stuff and things like that. So we show up like 90 minutes before the fireworks start. We park. We walk a tiny little short walk. We find a good spot for the chairs. We get something to eat. About then it's time for fireworks to start. We watch them. We get in the car. We drive home. It's just no big deal. Like there's no hassle. It's all super easy. Where yeah, like in my life, I've been to other fireworks where it's like parking is the most insane thing in the world. You feel like you're gonna like either kill yourself or kill someone trying to find a place to park. You're like lugging 4 chairs like 2 miles to find a place to sit, and then you're still like miles away from the fireworks, and it's all terrible. So yeah, we have a pretty good firework situation. But my fireworks here have been doing, I don't know if yours are doing this around, but the one here, they do like a drone show as part of the fireworks. So like they open the show with like choreographed drone display. and then they morph into fireworks from there. It's very
So
weird.
we don't have it around here that I saw, but on Friday night, the actual fourth one, when I got home, I realized that I think it was CNN or Fox News or one of them. But I was flipping through the channels on Hulu, and there was like 4 or 5 channels that were like live fireworks from X. And I realized that the 4th of July fireworks is almost like New Year's Eve, where you can find like the news channel that has like every town's time zones, whatever, like fireworks display.
Uh,
So after I got home, I watched Florida's fireworks at like 10 o'clock ish. There was like Indiana's at 10:30. There was Texas's at like 11, like my time. But through all that, the one city, I forget which one it was. I think Indiana, Illinois, or something. They had both a drone show and a fireworks show going off at the same time in the same general area, but they had a split screen where you could watch like both at the same time together. So I watched my first fireworks drone show through Hulu in Indiana.
Gotcha. That's cool. Yeah, the drones are like, they're interesting, but they're not as good as fireworks. So I am happy that we still get the fireworks. But the drones, especially you want to talk about like we are in a capitalist horrible hellscape. They can use the drones to put the sponsors' logos up in the air before the show starts. Like that was the first thing that they showed was like a big logo of the sponsor. I was like, oh, I mean,
what
I
was
guess
the sponsor?
It's like the local like town basically. It
Okay.
was like the town's logo, so it wasn't awful. It wasn't horrendous, but it's like it's just a logo. It's just we're all here to celebrate fireworks and like the country and stuff, and it's like we're just seeing like a series of logos because they did the like the town logo, then they did the local sports teams. They did all of them, so we got to see like the Pacers logo and the Colts logo and the Fever logo. And it's like again, people popped for all those, but it's just logos in the sky.
Yeah, because
It's
like the show that I was watching was one of the first graphics they made was like Hatfield Farms hot dogs, like their brand logo in the sky. And
that's
I was
full
like,
on just sponsors.
yeah,
there.
and I was like, come on. And then they made like at one point they made like an American flag, and then it was the rest was like at least nice things. But realistically, like drones make almost no noise. Like that's you don't want them to really make a noise.
Yeah.
And all they're doing is making fancy pictures. Like it's not
Yeah,
like
for sure.
fireworks exploding and lights and sound and everything. It's just watch these little dots turn into different pictures.
Yeah, it's just if we do it, I want the pretty pictures to be like, a grill opening and then it has hot dogs on it or something, right? I don't want it to be like the capitalist dystopia future.
I don't want the Apple logo that turns into like the X logo that turns into Meta.
Exactly. I don't want to have to like scan the QR code that the drones formed so that I can pay 99 cents to keep watching the fireworks. I don't want that to happen. Speaking of which, check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/the Comment Writers, and you can pay us $3 a month to get access to all of our bonus content. Toby, we watch shit. What don't we watch? That's what I have to say.
Yeah, there's just so many things.
We watch Ghost Yuger. We're watching Don Brothers right now. We finished up X-Aid. We've watched Black Sun. We watched Boom Boomjer. So you get access to all of that for $3 a month, and you get access to our Discord too. So it's a good little bargain while we're talking about spending money. Patreon.com/the Comment Writers. Toby, we're here. Let's talk about Kamen Rider. Let's talk about Kamen Rider Gavv. Let's make that transition.
Because I don't feel like there's a ton to talk about in this episode, so that's
Agreed.
why I'm glad we vamped as long as we did. This
Me too.
This is a little bonus episode for everybody, as long as you like the vamping part.
Yeah, I had a lot to say about the new Kamen Rider, so I wanted to make sure we spent a lot of time on that. And yeah, it felt like not a ton happened this time around for Gavv. So last time, Hanto got mind controlled by the new zombie Suga that Nielv had created. And this episode's essentially the fallout from that. So the show opens, and Shoma is able to kind of force Hanto to dehension, and they have to take him back and tie him up at the old headquarters. And also at that early kind of opening, we get to see Nielv kind of conferring with zombie Suga, and they're planning sort of what their next step is, what their next experiment is in terms of hypnosis and kind of mind controlling people. So then the rest of the show is kind of those two things playing out. So first up, we let's talk about Hanto. So
I mean, he is effectively the episode, so
yeah, for sure, yeah. So he's back at kind of their he's tied up, and they're trying to figure out what to do with him, and he is just sort of like he's like a rabid dog. He's like kind of barking at them, trying to kill them. Clearly still under the hypnosis spell. I thought that the funny part of this was when Rakia splashed water on him, and it was like, nah, that didn't work. That was a pretty funny scene. But you know, they turn this into as we go on. First of all, Rakia uses his toxins. We hadn't seen that since he'd become good, but he goes back into Granute form, and he uses his toxin to essentially give Hanto,
mellow out his friend.
yeah, to mellow out his buddy. Listen, everybody's used your tentacle to mellow out your buddy before. Don't make it weird. And then while Hanto's kind of in this weird drugged state, we get an extended scene in his brain where we essentially get Angel Hanto and Devil Hanto. And Devil Hanto's like, you should kill Shoma and Rakia. And Angel Hanto's like, don't kill them, they're your friends.
Yeah, at least for whatever reason, it's obviously goofy, it's bonus slapsticky, whatever, but at least short enough of like they at least showed that he was fighting inside. Like Hanto is still there, even though he's not there, kind of thing. Like they did it a goofy way, but they did a good job with like the internal turmoil of the hypnotism or the poisoning, whatever you want to call it, where it's not like it's not like a one and done thing. That person's definitely still on the inside. He's fighting his way out, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Because I mean, like the core of that story is like, oh, Hanto broke the hypnosis by himself. Like they wanted to show, his fighting spirit, his sheer force of will, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, like I don't know how you represent that battle happening in his head in a different way. So it was fine that it conveyed the story that they were trying to tell. But the second that like Angel Hanto walked out dressed in white, the degree to which my eyes rolled was very, very high. So that was very goofy. And then Shoma and Rakia, of course, tell Sachika kind of what happened, and this is where they come up with the idea that if they destroy the gun, they think everyone will turn back to normal.
Hell of an idea. It was a hell of an idea.
Which, like, I don't know if I follow the logic there, but okay, that is what ends up happening. So that they were correct and I'm wrong, but it felt like a bit of a jump at the time in the episode.
It doesn't mean that it wasn't just because the show made it work. It doesn't mean it wasn't a cop out, so to speak.
That's very true. Yeah. Shoma and Rakia head out to search for Suga because they think he's probably out there doing more hypnosis right now. Sachika is looking at Twitter to figure things out too, but then she gets a call for an odd job. There's a woman who wants her to basically just walk her daughter to, I think, like karate class or something. So that gets Sachika out in the world because that's important for the next thing that happens.
She finally got out of that damn office. She's out doing things.
Yep. And Suga, we see now, is actually hypnotizing people. He is shooting people, and the thing we hear him say is like, make your way to the Kazumi beach.
He tells him that. Go to the beach.
Go to the beach. And then at some point in this, we get to see that he's actually, there's more to the instruction. It's go to the beach and then we don't get to hear the words. So there's more to it.
Go swim
Uh,
to America, where Kamen Rider is now going to be broadcast.
yeah, yeah. Spoiler alert. Whatever the instruction actually was, the end result is go drown yourself. Was what they all were seeking to go do. Just go walk out into the water, and die. Apparently.
So to that point, it seems weird that that would be the end game, considering they're supposed to be trying to make candy.
I don't think Nielv gives a crap about making candy.
He just wanted to see how powerful the hypnotism was. Like,
Yeah.
can I make these people go drown themselves in the ocean?
Yeah, because he calls it an experiment the whole time. And even when his plan, air quotes, is foiled at the end, he still says, like, well, the experiment was a success. Like, he figured out how much he can mind control people. He figured out how good the hypnosis was. Like, I think that was all he was in it for, was like just seeing the extent to which the hypnosis worked.
Gotcha. That
Yeah,
does make more sense.
he does not seem like he thus far has like only cared about the candy and the dark confections to the extent to which he is forced to when one of his bosses makes him. We also see what I guess a person that gets hypnotized throughout this process is the sweets shop owner that we now know is Shoma's uncle. He's going about his business. He gets shot, and he starts making his way to the Kazumi coast as well. Pretty quickly, Rakia and Shoma see that people are sort of like zombie walking to the coast, and they kind
They're
of follow
ready
them
to stop
get
them.
there. Yeah, so it doesn't really take much sleuthing to get to that point, but Sachika does a little bit of investigating on her own as well. She's looking for a hooded figure because that's what Shoma and Rakia told her about. She's expecting to find Suga, but instead she finds Longo.
Who she vaguely remembers, but not enough. I was kind of shocked. I guess he doesn't really give a shit that much of a shit about her, where it would be an issue. But like he looked at her and was like, "What the fuck do you want?" And she was like, "No, nothing." I thought it was somebody else and ran away.
Yeah.
And I was expecting her not to just get away, but I guess that wasn't really the crux of what was supposed to happen. So she just kind of disappeared. She wandered off and was like, "Yeah, I'm good."
She's like a little peon to him, right? Like he's not gonna remember her face, and it's just like someone bumped into him in the street, and he's like, "Ugh, screw you, get out of here."
I guess I don't remember anymore. But does he even know that she'd be tied to Dente and Shoma? Like, I don't remember if they met. But working off the conversation, like, let's assume they met. I don't think she ran into him with Shoma. Like, I don't think they were a group when that bump in would have happened. So if he's not doing his proper research and stuff, then he has no idea he doesn't know that she is like Shoma's keeper, guardian, whatever. And it's just some random girl that bugged him. So he's like, get the hell away from me.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. So the way that they play it in the episode, it's like she says like he looks so familiar. So they intimate basically that she has seen him before, but I don't remember exactly how that played out. There was that one point where, if you remember, she was like running up to fight somebody with like a spatula or whatever. She had like a very floppy tool that she was gonna like defend Shoma with. But I don't remember if she was defending Shoma from Longo or not. I don't remember who that was. I'm sure someone can probably tell us, but yeah, I can't remember if that was the scene where she would have met Longo or if it was a different one. But there was a point where she was kind of out on the battlefield with Shoma, and I'm assuming in one of those cases she would have come face to face with Longo.
Since we don't know, we don't have to dwell on it.
Yeah.
We pointed it out.
I really enjoyed here that very clearly the Stomach family just has like a standard issue coat that they all wear because they all have that same long coat that's kind of green that has the big green hood. We saw it with like Suga wearing it. Nielv has it. Now Longo has it. They all just have the Stomach family official coat.
Shockingly, not an item for sale that I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna show up on Premium Bandai any day now. So yeah, we do make it to the beach, as I said. Shoma and Rakia follow all the people. Nielv is waiting for them there on the beach, and he's like, "Oh, good, my experiment is finally happening here." And the people just walk out on the beach and start walking into the water, which again is like a pretty dark scene for, for a show like this, because it's like these people are just gonna like mass kill themselves is really the goal. And I thought it was a cool visual watching Shoma and Rakia try to like literally physically hold them back, and realizing that there's going to be too many for them to hold back. I thought that was cool. But then the ultimate solution, of course, is once again, Rakia has to use his toxin to make everyone happy and make everyone calm, and basically make them all pass out on the beach so they can't drown themselves.
So like during that scene, the pass out, drowning, everyone's running to the water thing. After Rakia does his sleepy darts, I feel like they cut to Sachika in a way where she was like, I'm not gonna say judging, but it seemed like a weird look of like, oh, this is actually what he was, or this is what he does, or is he bad, I guess, or like it was like a weird off-putting thing of like, since we say they'll have their own like friendships, relationships together, it seems like she was hanging out with like, if he's, not that they present it this way, but like if that was her boyfriend and he was like, we're gonna go hang out with my old friends now, and she saw they get like the crew he used to run with of like people like doing drugs and selling dope and everything, like she was like, oh wait, this was the group you were with, like these are the people that you say are your friends, kind of like judgy kind of look, or a confusion look, or something.
It definitely seemed like a look of disgust to me. Like it seemed like she was like, oh God, like
this is what you were doing, this is what Shoma talked you out of.
Which, like, I guess it is one thing to like hear about stuff like that, and it's like a whole nother to see it in action. Like if you hear somebody was like doing meth in an alley versus if you see someone doing meth in an alley, those are pretty different experiences for you.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So it might be like that, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if anything comes of that little glance that she gave them, because she definitely was not like, that's my guy, he's saving the day.
He's a real hero.
Yeah, the vibe was more like, what is he doing? Those are humans.
You're one of those disgusting granoots.
And then, of course, we get our battle. So this fight involves Suga and Nielv. I guess the important parts of the battle here are that, one, Hanto returns. And when he first shows up, everybody's like, whose side is he going to be on? What's going to happen here? But yes, turns out he broke his hypnosis himself, so he is fighting on the side of good.
Like a classic wrestling swerve. When Sting came out and you're like, which side's he on, NWO or WCW? What's going to happen?
Yep, exactly. And then
you probably don't even remember that. You were too little.
And then the other big point of this episode is, or this fight rather, is we get to see the full Granute form of Nielv. So he finally takes out his little key and transforms. And I think the cool thing is, like, we talked about he's based on a snake. He's got fangs. His little mouth has fang teeth coming out of it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I think maybe he might look the coolest of all of them to me. I think he might be my favorite Granute form.
That's where they're saving it till the end.
I guess so, yeah. Shoma ends up beating Suga up so much that he starts like breaking the chocolate suit apart, which I thought was pretty cool, like the cookie of the suit.
But yeah, that's definitely a cool vibe. Like, I watched it back 2 or 3 times because I saw it happen, and then I was like, wait, what the hell was that actually happening there though? So it took me a little bit, but I realized, like, yeah, he's like snapping off the bitter, broken, shattered cookie, or whatever that suit's called, kind of thing.
That's one of the really cool things about this season in general, is that the suits are so, I guess, like, malleable. Like, how many times? Yeah, exactly. Like, how many times have we seen like parts of Shoma get broken off because they're just gummy form and stuff like that, and like we get to see like so much of him bending and squishing and stuff. It's really cool. They really play up the candy aspect of the suits in that way. I think that's neat. And yeah, so then the gun eventually gets broken, I guess, in this fight. Suga, I think Rakia shoots the gun, if I remember correctly. Like the gun gets thrown aside, and then Rakia destroys it. And of course, that does fix it. All the hypnotized people are back to normal. And a few of the hypnotized people kind of wander into the woods to watch the end of the battle. And the people end up being initially very scared of like, oh my god, it's
The
monsters.
monsters.
But very cutely, Sachika gets to run in and say, no, 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 these are the good guys.
These
It's
are the Kamen
commoners.
Riders.
So we got to bring that plot point up again, which I thought was fun. And then that leads us to the end, where the uncle from the sweet shop does some online research and realizes that there have been reports of these Granoots kidnapping humans for going on 20 years. So then he connects the dots and realizes that his sister might have been taken by a Granoot. And finally, the bomb is dropped. Hanto tells Shoma that he has discovered that the shop owner is his uncle and was his mom's sister. And he has the younger picture of the mom to show to Shoma. And that's when the episode cuts, when Shoma is like, what? Nani?
And it was great too, because like after our talk last week of if Hanto stays jerk Hanto, it's a good like debate rage point of like, will he tell Shoma, hey, this is your relative, I found out without you wanted me to, or like how they're going to play that specific point. And I think like Hanto pulling him aside privately and just being like I think the conversation or statement was basically, I know I probably shouldn't have done this, and if you don't really, like, if you tell me this is wrong, I will stop, kind of deal. But he's like, but here's the thing, like, you know this person? Yeah, I think he's related to you. Like, do you recognize this picture at all? And he shows him a picture, like, the young mom picture from however long ago. And he's like, holy crap, this is my mom. How'd you find that picture? And he's like, yeah, so, you know your buddy, the candy guy? Yeah, he's actually your uncle.
Weird, small world. Yeah, I'm glad that we didn't get an extended multi-episode thing of brainwashed Hanto being evil. And I think that Hanto presenting this to Shoma and like kind of doing it in the way of saying like, I want to make sure that like I tell you this now in case things go bad again like they did today. I liked that. Like it's very pragmatic of him. And it's very like real life of him to be like, listen, I did a thing, you might be mad, but like I just need to tell you now. Like before this information really comes between us. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, for the show that we've given credit to a bunch of times for like presenting human emotions well in situations of like how would a real life human react to this, and not like necessarily like the TV show version of it, just like how does an actual human react to this. I think he did a very good job of like, this is a very delicate conversation. This guy is one of my closest friends. I don't really want to piss him off with this, but he also like didn't seem super interested in me finding his family in the first place. So they all together. I think they did an extremely good job of how he broached the conversation and the delicate hands he used to deliver the information.
Yeah, we'll see how Shoma reacts next episode, but yeah, I think that the delivery was well done here. So yeah, kind of like a not a bad episode, but like really just like a couple things happened episode. It's one of those. We'll wrap up our discussion of the episode here by reading some of Shade's email that I mentioned earlier. So our email address is cast@commonwritersucks.com. Once again, that is cast@commonwritersucks.com. This email does come in from our friend Shade, and Shade has some information from the producer's blog. So a little bit of tidbits from the episode. So the blog talks about Nielv's hypnosis schemes, and they were going for the Pied Piper, basically, was where they were inspired from.
I can see
that. Yeah, Shade says, if anybody's not familiar with the story, it's basically about a guy with a magic mind-controlling flute. He drowned a bunch of rats and then kidnapped a bunch of children with the flute.
As they all do.
Yeah, it really makes sense when you connect that dot of like, oh yeah, everybody walking to the water, that's totally Pied Piper for sure. They talk about Hanto's mind control. Apparently, Hanto's actor and Rocky's actor had a funny back and forth about the water tossing scene on Twitter, which is pretty funny. They added that because the director thought that it would be a playful touch.
was very playful.
The snack cafe owner was involved in this scheme today, of course, and he was cast because they said that he has an aura and acting that exudes kindness. I would agree
Sure.
with that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also because he looks similar to Shoma's actor.
Also works.
Then they talk a bit about Nielv's Granute form. Shade points out that he has those fangs on his stomach mouth. And his personal weapon, as you saw in the show, is a bow. And the blog mentions that the reason why Vram's weapon, the Vram Breaker, is also a bow is because Nielv would have based it on his own weapon. So when he was creating Vram and Vram's powers and his weapons and stuff, he was like, oh, I know how bows work. I'll give you a bow. So there you go. And of course, this episode is the actual farewell for Suga as a character and the actor of Suga. So he did receive his flowers after this episode.
Good job, buddy.
There's a funny picture of him holding the flowers with his fake Granute hand, which is pretty good. And told me that at the end they plugged the new song for Gavv's summer movie called Candy Blaze, which is by the Fanatics. For the Fantastics, excuse me. We did read all the information about Kamen Rider Zeztz earlier, but Shade does have some opinions about it, so I want to read those for you now. Shade says, first off, right off the bat, Zeztz is based off of the first Kamen Rider. From the color palette to the sleek suit and bug light helmet, it screams Kamen Rider Ichigo. It looks like they're going with a more traditional design because Zeztz is going to be the first international season, and they want to introduce / familiarize the audience with the standard Kamen Rider look. I've also seen some people theorize that the Zeztz design was inspired by Western superheroes because of the suit's sleek and muscular look. I don't know if that's true or not. But
I said when the picture was revealed in our Discord, patreon.com/thecommentwriters, we were all hyped on it. And in general, like my first take was this looks as throwback as possible while also being as 2025 as possible. And I also said he looked like future Spider-Man.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're spot on. He looks like Spider-Man 2099, and totally they've struck this weird balance where he is both a throwback. He looks just like OG Kamen Rider, but he also looks very modern. And yeah, he wouldn't look out of place in a Marvel movie, which I think is probably exactly what they're going for.
I can't wait for that crossover. The new Avengers.
Hell yeah. Shade says, my thoughts on the suit is that it looks weird. I think this is one of those suits that will look better in motion because just looking at it in the picture makes it look uncanny to a degree. I like the back to basics design. I'm one of those people who go crazy every time they make a Showa Rider inspired design. I love 01 and Gotchart to death, but Zeztz to me just looks bare bones and naked. The fact that he does have a belt doesn't help either. The fact that he doesn't have a belt doesn't help either. He looks super naked. And my God, please put on a jacket or something like Shin Kamen Rider. See, I like the very sleek naked look. I think I'm into that.
Yeah, we have to dumb it down for America audience now. As always, everyone needs to pander to the United States.
Yeah.
And everyone just needs to realize that if we're going to make it popular and blow up, getting all the idiots that live here to like it, there's certain things you have to do. And that's make it as sexy superhero jacked as possible.
This is like in the show Community, where Abed loves the show Inspector Spacetime, and they do focus testing for an American version of the show, and they talk to Chase. Is that his name? The old guy? I suddenly blanked on his name. Yeah. And he gives them like the most awful feedback of just like, what if the girl's boobs were bigger? That kind of stuff. Yeah, it's the what if the girl's boobs were bigger version of Kamen Rider. Yeah. The actor's name is Chevy Chase is who I was thinking of there. But the character is named Pierce. There we go. We got there. That was gonna hurt my brain the rest of the evening if I didn't come up with that. Shade goes on. Shade says, about Zeztz as a show itself, I'm cautiously excited. This is the first international season ever, and luckily Vietnam is also on their release plans. So I will also be able to watch at the same time as you guys, I think, ? At this point, we still don't know if Zeztz will be simulcast or not. They haven't mentioned it. We'll have to wait for more announcements in the future. Right now, I'm hoping to God that whoever's in charge of releasing the show does a good job with the subs, and ideally, it should be like how how Ultraman releases their shows. Yeah, that would be the most like the ease of use. Just put it on YouTube, make it so anybody can access it. But we'll see. Then Shade finishes up and says, all right, so what do you guys think of this huge news? We talked about that a little bit earlier. This took me completely by surprise. They announced it on Sunday morning. I just woke up, checked my phone, and freaked out. Now that Power Rangers is out of the way, Kamen Rider has a clean slate to work with, and they're really committing to this. I still can't believe that we finally made it here. A new era of Kamen Rider is coming. Please don't fuck this up, Toei. I didn't really think about it from that aspect, actually. That's interesting. That Kamen Rider, that the Kamen Rider could sort of fill the gap that Power Rangers has left, like the vacuum that Power Rangers has left. Because we're really not getting new Power Rangers seasons, and like Power Rangers are kind of as popular as they ever have been. I talk to 5-year-olds sometimes because I have one now, and 5-year-olds still really liked Kamen Rider, like they still really like Power Rangers because they were all on Netflix and stuff. If we could somehow get Kamen Rider into the eyes of kids who are like aging out of that Power Rangers era, it could go big. We'll see. And Toby, our last email comes in from our friend Jordan. Jordan's written in the past to give us some details about various shows we watch. This is a short one. Jordan says, Toby, I don't know how to tell you this, but Inu Brother is a dog, not a cat. Brother, we're just gonna flop back and forth on whether we say dog or cat constantly. So everyone's just gonna have to deal with that. Because
I think if you've been around us, specifically me, for any amount of time now, you would realize that there's a lot of times my brain just doesn't work, and this is gonna be one of those things where like today I might argue it's a cat, and I'll have facts and proof and be like, no, this is seriously a cat, whatever, blah blah blah. And then next week I'll completely forgot that I thought it was a cat this week, and next week I'll say it was a dog, and I'll be like, no, this is obviously a dog because X Y Z. And more times than not, it's not actually me like doing it to do it. I just don't know any better. I don't know myself to know any better.
Yeah. And we've said it wrong so many times, and we've been corrected now so many times that I have lost all sense of which is right and which is wrong. Like, I know I just read it, but like in 10 minutes, I'm going to know that there is confusion over whether it's a dog or a cat, but I'm not going to remember which one is correct. So we're just baking that into me watching this show now, that I'm going to never know the right answer. I'm just never going to know.
There was a point in the Discord weeks ago when this first came up where I think I argued dog first or cat first or whatever. And then everyone told me it was the opposite. And then one of the last things I said in that conversation was, no, see, I told you guys this was right. And then I flip-flopped even in that conversation, not realizing that I flip-flopped. Like, they're both just, it's the same animal to me. It's a dog until it's a cat, and it's a cat until it's a dog.
Yep. There you go.
Go watch us get confused too over at patreon.com/thecommentwriters.
There it is. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up, I think, for us for this week. Toby, why don't you tell the people where they can find you on the internet?
On Twitter, it's Life of Tobes. On YouTube, it's Tobes Plays. On Retro Achievements, it's Tobes Plays. And in Weird Horse Girl Racing Game, it's nothing because you're all freaking weirdos that you shouldn't be playing horse girls.
I'm sad we didn't have enough time to talk about horse girls.
We'll talk about horse girls next time.
All right. Yeah, I want to talk about horse girls next time. I am at meek.lol on Blue Sky. You can find the show at commonwritersucks.com on Blue Sky as well. And of course, as we mentioned, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/thecommentwriters, and subscribe to the podcast, whether you're listening on Spotify or on a different podcasting app, or you're on YouTube, wherever it might be. Click that old subscribe button so you get notified when new episodes come out, and it helps us out. It lets people know that we're a show to watch and we're a show to listen to. And tell a friend while you're out there too. If you have friends. If you don't have friends, that's okay. Just listen twice. That's fine. All right. That's going to wrap us up. We're going to get out of here. We hope you also get out of here, but we hope you come back next time to talk about episode 43. And in the meantime, we hope you have a great week, everybody. Peace.